Hi guys, this is a redirect to my reaction to The Legend of Korra Season 2 episodes 12, 13 and 14, and oh my god, this finale was absolutely insane. It was so well put together. I really loved the fight. I really loved how everything played out in the end. I didn't expect it to play out like that, because I wasn't, obviously, like, I didn't know about using the tree of time for Korra to use to find her inner self and then defeat UNALAQ, VAATU, I should say VAATU, to defeat him and, you know, restore balance in the world. Wow, that was an epic finale. Like, I did not expect it to be like that big of a finale, considering that this is just season 2. Like, I can't imagine how big of a finale season 3 and season 4 are going to be like if this is going to be season 2's finale, which I felt was like a lot more dramatic than the finale in the Avatar series, because in the Avatar series it was right at the end of the Avatar series, it was the big fight between Anq and Ozai, which of course was like a really great fight, but it felt like everything was a lot more chaotic this time around. But yeah, before I get on to that, I will say my season 2 review. Actually, I'll start off with like talking about these episodes first, and then I'll get on to like a general review on season 2 overall. So firstly, so Korra, oh man, such a burden on this girl. So she has to defeat UNALAQ. UNALAQ plans to fuse with Vaatu. He plans to free him and then fuse with him, and he actually managed to do that. So Korra, she was really trying hard to defeat him with Mako and Bolin's help. But the first attempt was to like basically destroy the Northern Water Tribe area, but that plan didn't work. They instead became hostages to UNALAQ, and Korra, like, she was trying to convince the twins to basically be on their side and not their father's side, because their father is absolutely crazy. UNALAQ as a villain, like, even though I absolutely hate this guy, as a villain he's actually quite interesting because he actually has a motive. Like, I always felt like, even though overall, I'm just gonna say out, overall I do prefer Avatar overall over the Legend of Korra series, but apart from that, like, the villains in this series, like, I really like Amon and I really like UNALAQ as a villain. When I say I really like, I don't like him, obviously. I absolutely despise this guy, but when it comes to like villainous qualities, this guy is just so badass with what he does, and he's so cruel though, but like he's just cool with whatever he does, and he's so smart about it as well, and I like smart villains. So firstly, Korra, Asami, Mako, Bolin, Tenzin, and the rest, like, they really wanted to take down the Northern Water Tribe, UNALAQ's water tribe, but they couldn't. And then Korra reunited with her father. Her father took a massive beating from UNALAQ, so he was recovering. And meanwhile, Jinora is still not inside her body, so she was getting healed by Kya and Katara. And they were really worried about her because she's like been in the spirit world for like a week now, and she still hasn't returned to her physical body yet. So Tenzin was deeply worried. Obviously he would be. So Tenzin, Kya and Bumi, they decided to enter the spirit world and find Jinora themselves, and they found it really difficult to find her. And then they found Iroh, who actually gave them a clue that you find them, those who are in the place where there are lost people. Like, he gave a clue regarding lost people, and then Tenzin figured out that it's through the spider thing in the tree, So they needed to be cobwebbed, and then they found all these lost spirits, and they actually found Zhao, who was like the first villain in the original Avatar series. So I was quite surprised that we saw Zhao's lost soul, and then he mistaked Tenzin for being a grown-up Aang. Um, and then like and then unfortunately Bumi and Kya, because the lost souls world, um, it makes you paranoid, it makes you see things that are not there. Because of that, Bumi and Kya, they went mad and they got separated from Tenzin. Tenzin was the only one who actually kept his sanity to some extent. And then he found his father, Aang, and Aang was like telling him that you need to find your true self. You can't become like me. And Tenzin really needed to realize that he's not supposed to just copy his father completely. You know, you've got to be your own person and find your true self. And from that inspiration, so we really got to thank Aang for this. It technically, because he was the one that gave him that wisdom, and then Tenzin passed on that wisdom piece of advice to Korra to defeat UNALAQ, VAATU UNALAQ. So yeah, so everything worked out in the end, but it was just like, it was so crazy. This fight was just absolutely insane. It was so lit. I've never seen, I mean, I've seen so many great fights in like animes, cartoons, but like this one is definitely one of the best ones that I've seen. It was just so well animated, so well choreographed, and it was just incorporating anything and everything in that fight. And I really felt like this is something that I thought you'd see in like right at the end of a series, you know, rather than midway through a series, if you get me. Because it really felt like the final boss fight, if you get what I'm trying to say. Because UNALAQ, he fused with Vaatu. He literally destroyed Rava. Well, he didn't. She wasn't like completely dead though, but like he, like the way it was just so cruel how when Korra was like really beaten up, he took the opportunity to get Rava out of Korra and then basically beat her up with a lot of like water bending attacks, and then like she got smaller, and then like Korra was losing all her past lives, even the first avatar as well, and I was just like, oh my god, no. I was shouting no throughout that. That was absolutely terrifying to watch. Her losing her connection to her past lives and seeing Rava. No, I actually thought that she was done for. I actually thought she was dead, destroyed, never to be restored again. But she was technically restored because UNALAQ kind of like trapped her inside him. So when he fused with Vaatu, he turned into like a demonic giant monster. And oh my god, that character design of Vaatu UNALAQ is really cool. Yeah, that's a really cool character design. And he was just so powerful. He was taking over the spirit world. So his mission was to make sure that the spirits were living with the humans. He didn't like the fact that there was like um, a split between the spirit world and the human world, the physical world. So yeah, like even though in the end Korra, even though she defeated UNALAQ, she apologized to the twins for not saving their dad. Like she actually wanted to save their dad, even though he was like a psychopath. But it actually kind of surprised me. Like the twins said that they felt no remorse for, they felt no sadness that their father died, because they really respected him and they just did everything they said. But I'm glad that they came to their senses at the end and actually helped Mako and Bolin and the rest fight the dark spirits in the spirit world. So Korra, she basically, Tenzin gave Korra advice that because she's now lost her connection to Rava and lost her connection to past lives, she needs the only last resort is to actually meditate inside the tree of time, and the tree of time will allow her to find her inner self, So once she finds her inner self, she will be able to get that power, use that power against UNALAQ. So that's what she did. She became like this giant energy spiritual thing, and like she basically destroyed UNALAQ and actually restored Rava as well. She did want to save UNALAQ as well, but he was already like so combined to Vaatu's energy that it was just not possible to save UNALAQ. Yeah, an epic fight. And another thing, Jinora, she wanted to help out and she actually took part in this final fight. Like she said that she, even though like Tenzin found her, Jinora told him that the world, the spirit world and the physical world are in danger, like proper danger. Like she was sensing that because obviously she has a strong soul connection to the spirit world. So she wanted to do her own part in this by, I mean, it wasn't totally clear how she did it, but I guess she was like talking to all the good spirits that she could find, and managed to get like this giant ball of light to use against UNALAQ, and that actually worked. It allowed Korra to like finally finish him off. So well done to Jinora as well. Well done to both Korra and Jinora. Damn man, like I really wonder, like if it was Anq who was up against UNALAQ, like how would he have done things? I don't know, like I'm just saying. Anyway, yeah. So it is a crazy finale. Alright, so I'll just talk very generally now about season 2. So firstly we get introduced to some new characters. We get introduced to UNALAQ, Tonraq, Korra's parents. So Korra, she wanted to perfect her skills in airbending, with Tenzin as her mentor, but then UNALAQ came in with the spirit bending, and there were like rebel spirits that were attacking people, and Korra, she really wanted, because her job is to like protect the world as the avatar, so she wanted to learn spirit bending because you know there's all these spirits that are like attacking people and stuff. So she was getting fed up with the airbending and decided to allow UNALAQ to become her instructor. Obviously back then UNALAQ, we didn't suspect him to be like the evil mastermind this whole time, but obviously like back then I thought he was a bit dodgy, to be honest, and I was correct in saying that, but like I didn't know like how psychotic this guy was. So yeah, and then we found out that Tonraq was actually the general of the Northern Water Tribe, but he had to go to the Southern Water Tribe and make a whole other life there, and that's what made UNALAQ the chief of the Northern Water Tribe, because Tonraq broke a really big rule by destroying a sacred forest. Yeah, and then like later, the Civil War came, and there was like this civil war between the Southern Water Tribe and the Northern Water Tribe, and like Korra, like she really wanted to like improve on her bending skills. At the same time, was like trying to stop UNALAQ, the twins, and his Northern Water Tribe from like taking over the Southern Water Tribe because they were invading the Southern Water Tribe. So that was the conflict. I got really, so it was really, actually I would say first that it was a really interesting storyline, the whole Civil War conflict. Korra trying, because there was so many obstacles that they faced throughout the season. She was really trying to save the Southern Water Tribe from getting invaded by the Northern Water Tribe, but she did not get the president's permission to send troops over there so that they can be protected. So she had to take matters into her own hands, and it didn't even work. So that was that, and but I got really frustrated, and this happened in the last season as well, and it just continued with this season. I just thought it's just really stupid, and even in the very last episode I thought it was just a bit stupid how Korra kissed Mako, even though she told him that it's all over. So why the hell are you kissing him? That makes no sense whatsoever. Does anyone do that? Like when you break up with someone, you don't kiss them. That just sends, that's just so contradictory. You just don't do that. I know you still have feelings for each other, but you just don't act on it, you know, if you're saying that you don't want to be with them. Anyway, so Mako really frustrated me in this season as well. Like, even though he's a great detective, and I will say that he's a brilliant detective for like figuring out that Varric was the culprit in those bomb attacks, and you know, just being a sly piece of shit. Mako, he's just, oh, it's so frustrating, like how he was like playing games with Asami, and then like when he breaks up with Korra, he goes back to playing games with Asami, and I just felt really bad for her. I felt really bad for Korra as well. Like, to be honest, Asami should know better that once a cheater, always a cheater, pretty much. You can't trust Mako, you can't depend on this guy, because he's not really showing you enough affection. Like, the fact that he turned down on like having a date with you goes to show that he's so in his head, he's so focused on his career, that he's not like interested in a romantic relationship. But I mean, like, we've all been really naive. I mean, they're teenagers, so I mean, I can't blame them too much, but like, it's just so annoying when guys do that, because I've been there, and it hurts when people play games with you. It's not nice at all. Um, so yeah, I just felt really bad for Asami and Korra, that they were getting played by Mako, who was being such an indecisive prick. Um, I do like the fact that Bolin had some moments to shine, because he was just coming off as a goofball, especially in season 1. So I'm really glad that he had his moments to shine, be the hero. Like, he actually saved the president in the last 3 episodes. And Mako makes it. I don't hate Mako. I hope like people don't think that I hate him, but I do get frustrated with like how he dealt with the romantic thing, and I really don't like how the writers dealt with the romantic ships in this, because it gets so confusing and messy, and I don't like it. I know that a lot of writers like to include love triangles, and it's fine to include a love triangle, but it has to be handled well. It can't be handled like, you know, like a cycle going on, like a karmic cycle going on with, you know, the situation. It just, oh man, it gets so messy, and I don't like it, because in the original Avatar series, the ships, the romantic ships, were made, were very clear. We were very clear on like who would end up with who, because Anq and Katara, they had like a really strong bond, and that's why I really like the romantic ships in the original Avatar series. It was a lot more clear, basically. Like, you knew like who would end up with who, and it might not like seem as realistic, but at least for us it gives us peace of mind, you know. But in this, it just is so like chaotic. I know like some people like drama, but like, it just disgusts me that people would treat other people like that because of their own indecision, you know. I hate players. That's the thing about you know that. Anyway, enough about the romance. This was an epic fight. By the end, it took so many attempts to defeat UNALAQ, so it was really hard on Korra. Like, it was, oh man, it just makes me think like, how would have Anq dealt with this? Would he have done anything different? Like, he was just a 12-year-old boy though. Korra, I believe, is 17, so she's a couple of years older. I don't want to compare protagonists, but it makes me think, you know, because like, Anq, like, he didn't, I mean, even though he dealt with something like really big, like Ozai, but it wasn't as big as dealing with a giant monster that's like trying to like take over the world, basically. So props to Korra and Jinora and Tenzin and Anq, technically, because it was Anq who actually gave the advice in the first place. If it wasn't for that piece of advice, then Korra would have had a lot of trouble in trying to figure out what to do. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, what did you think of these episodes? What did you think of season 2? Let me know, and stay tuned for more.